Introducing the protagonist, Mia Callahan. Background: Mia Callahan is a renowned Earth filmmaker known for her deeply emotional films that explore universal human themes of love, loss, resilience, and connection. Her films have won numerous awards on Earth, and her unique storytelling style resonates with audiences across cultural boundaries. Motivations: Mia is driven by her belief that films are a bridge between worlds, capable of showing people their own reflections as well as opening windows into others' lives. She believes deeply that her stories have universal value, even if the galactic community has yet to recognize it. Internal conflicts: despite her confidence in her art, Mia struggles with the weight of representing Earth's culture on a galactic stage. She faces intense self-doubt, questioning whether human stories have a place in the alien-dominated media landscape. Establishing the Galactic Council and interplanetary politics. The Galactic Council. This body governs trade, policy, and culture across the galaxy, bringing together representatives from thousands of species. The Council's cultural division, the Galactic Art Exchange, is dedicated to sharing and preserving art across worlds. Alien perceptions of humanity. Earth is new to the Council, viewed as a developing planet with cultures and technologies seen as primitive by most advanced species. The Council views human films as quaint, simplistic, and overly reliant on raw emotions. Council's cultural expectations. Many alien species don't express or value emotions the way humans do, preferring storytelling that explores intellectual or sensory stimulation over emotional narratives. They use forms of art that are more complex, often involving telepathic or sensory projection rather than visual media. Ethereum Station, the cultural nexus. Setting description: the Ethereum Station is an enormous intergalactic hub of diplomacy, trade, and cultural exchange. It has sections for each species, designed to accommodate their unique environmental and atmospheric needs. Mia is awestruck by its blend of alien architecture and technologies, from towering crystal structures to floating habitats with gravity manipulation. Human sector. Earth's sector on Ethereum is modest, with basic facilities and a small, curious crowd of alien visitors. The space pales compared to the dazzling, grand sectors of more established species, making Mia feel both pride and insecurity in representing her planet. Mia's initial encounters and first screening. First screening of a human film. Mia organizes a screening of a popular Earth film, hoping to spark some appreciation for human storytelling. However, the alien audiences laugh at moments intended to be moving or heroic, seeing them as overly simplistic and emotionally indulgent. Reactions and disappointment. Alien Council members mock the film as sentimental fluff, while others express outright confusion, asking why humans focus so heavily on personal relationships and emotions. Mia's frustration and determination. Although deeply disappointed, Mia becomes more determined than ever to create something that will break through. She resolves to craft a film that captures the essence of human experience in a way that can resonate with even the most skeptical alien species. Foreshadowing the larger conflict. Counselor Varlek's antagonism. Counselor Varlek, a member of the powerful and stoic Karen species, openly dismisses Earth's films, suggesting that they add nothing valuable to the Council. He hints that Earth's cultural contributions could be excluded from future exchanges. Hints of an unlikely ally. Mia's friend Karail, a Trilarian empath, encourages her to keep trying, hinting that some alien species, particularly empaths, can sense the depth of human emotions even if they don't fully understand them. Mia's decision to fight for Earth's culture. Inspired by Karail's words and determined not to let Earth's artistic contributions be dismissed, Mia begins crafting a new film. She aims to make it universal, capturing an emotional journey that transcends cultural barriers. Excerpt from Section 1. Setting the scene. Mia Callahan stood at the entrance of the Grand Exhibition Hall on Ethereum Station, her breath catching as she looked out at the crowd of aliens filling the space. Beings of every shape, color, and texture filled the hall, some seated, others hovering, still others embedded in translucent spheres that floated serenely in midair. The air buzzed with alien languages, a cacophony of tones, chirps, and frequencies that hummed together like a symphony from another world. The Ethereum station was a marvel, an intricate web of ecosystems and cultures all contained within a shimmering, sprawling structure that orbited the galactic core. To Mia, it was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, the grandest place she'd ever seen. Designed by the Galactic Council, it served as the nexus for interstellar diplomacy, trade, and Mia's reason for being here, cultural exchange. She felt a gentle hand on her shoulder and turned to see Kirail, her Trilarian friend, standing beside her. Kirail's skin, a translucent shade of lavender, glowed softly in the dim light. The Trilarian empath could sense emotions, and right now, Kirail's presence radiated a reassuring calmness. "They're ready for you," Kirail murmured, her violet eyes reflecting the light like pools of starlight. Mia nodded, swallowing her nerves. She had worked tirelessly to prepare for this moment, the chance to screen a piece of Earth's art for the galaxy. The Council had given her a chance, but there was a catch. If her film failed to impress, humanity's place in the galactic art exchange might be revoked, an indication that Earth's culture was deemed unworthy of the vast, advanced galaxy. With a deep breath, Mia walked to the front of the hall and began the film. It was a human classic, one that had touched countless lives on Earth, a story of love and sacrifice, of loss and hope. She hoped, despite her doubts, that some of that raw human spirit would shine through to her alien audience. The screen filled with the familiar scene, a sweeping shot of Earth, then a close-up of the protagonist's face, etched with the kind of pain and determination that, to humans, spoke volumes. But as the story unfolded, Mia sensed a shift in the audience. Laughter bubbled from different corners of the hall, ripples of amusement that grated against her heart. When the hero sacrificed himself to save his love, the hall erupted in more laughter. Mia's stomach twisted, feeling the sting of mockery, the rejection of something she held so dearly. To these beings, human love, human grief, it was all seen as naive, perhaps even comical. She stole a glance at Counselor Varlek, whose face bore a smirk of thinly veiled disdain. The film ended, and the silence felt like a crushing weight. Counselor Varlek, a tall, imposing Karen, stood and addressed her. "Charming, in its way," he said, his voice carrying an edge of mockery. "But is this truly the best Earth has to offer? A tale of defection? Emotional excess?" Mia clenched her fists, swallowing down the frustration rising in her chest. She wanted to defend her world, to make them see the value in what she'd shown them. But her words felt hollow in the face of their laughter. As the audience dispersed, Kirail touched her arm, their skin now a soft, sympathetic blue. "Don't be discouraged, Mia," she murmured. "Some of us, we feel it. Not in the same way, but we sense its worth." Mia met Kirail's eyes, feeling a spark of determination take root. She wouldn't let one failure define her mission. If the galaxy couldn't see the power of human stories in this film, then she would create one they couldn't ignore. "I'm not giving up," Mia whispered, a steely resolve in her voice. "I'll show them what it means to be human." Story outline for Section 2, Journey and First Conflict. Mia's determination and strategy shift. Reeling from setbacks. After her film's disastrous reception in Section 1, Mia is shaken but resolved to continue. She reflects on the Council's reaction and realizes she needs a new approach. This setback only fuels her determination, pushing her to find a way to create a universal story that can connect even the most skeptical alien audiences. Studying alien cultures, Mia begins immersing herself in the art, literature, and history of different Council species, seeking to understand their values and emotional landscapes. She wants to understand how aliens perceive emotions, relationships, and stories so she can bridge the gap. Early inspiration and experimentation. Inspired by what she learns, Mia decides to create a new film that balances human emotions with themes and symbols familiar to alien species. She wants to create a hybrid story that holds human values, but uses elements that resonate across different species. Introducing supporting characters. Rhinox, a wise, thoughtful Trilarian empath who appreciates human art more than most aliens. Rhynox becomes a mentor figure, guiding Mia on how to express universal emotions in a way that the Council might accept. He explains alien culture's perception of complex emotions and helps Mia adjust her storytelling approach. Lyra, a young and curious Xylarian, an alien species with an insectoid appearance but highly advanced emotional intelligence, who's fascinated by Earth's films. Lyra represents the more open-minded, younger generation within the Council who are willing to learn from humanity. She is enthusiastic about Mia's project and even volunteers to help with the technical aspects of production. Early experiments and struggles. First experimental film. Mia, with the help of Rhynox and Lyra, creates a short film exploring a love story that incorporates abstract alien symbols. However, her new approach is met with mixed reactions. Some species show mild interest, while others view it as a failed mimicry of their own art forms. Conflicts with the Council. Councillor Varlek continues to criticize Mia's efforts, openly questioning why the Council is allocating resources to her primitive storytelling. His sharp criticisms create additional pressure on Mia, forcing her to confront her insecurities about her place in the galaxy. Internal struggles. Despite her supporters, Mia feels an intense emotional strain. The pressure to succeed, combined with self-doubt and loneliness, weighs heavily on her. She questions whether Earth's stories really have a place in this vast, critical universe. A breakthrough moment. Rhynox's guidance. Rhynox encourages Mia to focus less on what aliens expect and more on what feels true to her as a human storyteller. He shares an old Trilarian tale about resilience, which inspires Mia to stay authentic to her vision while still embracing universal themes. Creating a new story. Mia decides to create a story that touches on universal themes, sacrifice, perseverance, and the human ability to endure hardship, while incorporating the perspectives and symbols she's learned from her new friends. The premiere. Mia screens her new short film to a smaller audience, which includes Rhynox, Lyra, and a handful of other open-minded council members. Her film tells a story of survival and connection across species, blending familiar human emotions with themes that aliens understand. The film stirs a subtle but promising reaction, with Lyra visibly moved. Foreshadowing of the larger conflict. Positive reactions and growing resistance. The mixed reception hints at a slow but emerging appreciation for human art, but Councillor Varlek dismisses the film as a fluke, warning that human culture is still unfit for the Council's standards. Mia realizes that her journey to acceptance will be far from easy and senses that her struggle isn't just for herself, it's for Earth's place in the galaxy. Mia's renewed resolve. With encouragement from Rhynox and Lyra, Mia becomes more determined to persevere. She understands that her journey has only just begun and that her success could change the way aliens view humanity for generations to come. Excerpt from Section 2 of First Victory. Mia took a deep breath, her gaze steady as she watched the projection screen. It displayed a small, somber film, a departure from the bright, bombastic scenes that Earth audiences loved. This was her first attempt at blending human emotion with symbols that alien cultures found meaningful. The storyline was simple: a lone traveler, lost in a foreign land, facing a fierce storm that seemed to symbolize every hardship they'd ever known. The traveler's expression, though subtle, was universal, a hint of sorrow, determination, and, finally, quiet triumph. When the screen faded to black, silence filled the room. Mia scanned the faces of the small audience, noting their varied reactions. Lyra, her young Xylarian assistant, was blinking rapidly, her antennae twitching as she processed the film. Beside her, Rhynox's lavender-hued skin had deepened to a soft indigo, a color Mia had come to understand as Trilarian sorrow. Finally, Lyra spoke, her voice wavering with something that felt close to awe. That storm, it was more than just wind and rain, wasn't it? She looked up at Mia, her multifaceted eyes reflecting a mix of confusion and intrigue. It was like an emotion. Mia nodded, her heart pounding. Yes. On Earth, we often use storms as symbols for our inner struggles. It's not just a storm, It's a way of saying that sometimes life feels overwhelming. But the traveler didn't give up. Rhinox placed a gentle hand on Mia's shoulder, his skin shifting to a warm purple, a rare sign of approval. You've touched on something powerful here, Mia. You gave us something we could feel, even if we didn't fully understand it. He looked around the room, addressing the others. This is humanity's strength. Their stories are woven with emotions that can transcend words, something that speaks to the heart without needing translation. But just as hope began to blossom in Mia's heart, Counselor Varlek's voice cut through the room. Emotion, yes, he said, his tone dripping with condescension. Primitive sentiment. Nothing more. He turned to Mia, his eyes narrowing. This attempt may have entertained a handful of you, but it changes nothing. Earth's culture remains simple, a curiosity at best. Mia felt her shoulders sag, but before she could respond, Lyra stepped forward, her voice surprisingly firm. Counselor Varlek, perhaps you are too quick to judge. I found something genuine in the story. Something that speaks beyond language or custom. Varlek's gaze shifted to Lyra, but he said nothing, only giving a dismissive wave. He left the room, his departure leaving a bitter silence behind. Mia's heart felt heavy, the sting of Varlek's words sharp. But Rhinox offered her a reassuring nod. Remember, Mia, that change doesn't happen overnight. You've planted a seed here. The story touched those willing to listen, and that is where progress begins. Mia forced a small smile. She knew Rhinox was right. For the first time, she'd seen an alien, a being from a world beyond her own, see the world through a human lens. It was a small step, but it felt like the beginning of something much larger. As she packed up her equipment, Lyra approached her. Mia, she said quietly, her antennae drooping slightly. If you ever need help with your next project, I'd be honored. I want to understand more. Mia looked at Lyra, a spark of gratitude and determination igniting within her. Thank you, Lyra. We'll make something extraordinary, together. Story outline for Section 3, Escalation and High-Stakes Clashes. Mia's growing influence and rising tensions. Increased interest in human art. After her last successful showing, Mia's reputation among more open-minded members of the Galactic Council begins to grow. Council members who were skeptical before start attending her screenings. Alien youths, especially, are drawn to the raw emotion and depth of human storytelling. Counselor Varlek's backlash. Counselor Varlek, who despises Earth's perceived primitive culture, views Mia's rising influence as a threat to traditional council values. He lobbies to ban human films, claiming they distract from true art and degrade the council's cultural standards. Support from allies. Mia's allies, including Rhinox and Lyra, help her navigate the complexities of council politics. They organize secret screenings and rallies among allies from various alien factions, hoping to secure support before Varlek can take further action. Intensified conflict and unexpected opposition. A dramatic showdown. Varlek confronts Mia publicly at a council meeting, accusing her of manipulating council members with cheap emotional tactics. He proposes a vote to bar Earth from submitting any further cultural works unless they meet new standards of intellectual merit. Mia's counterargument. Mia, now more confident and articulate, defends human art with a passionate speech about the universality of emotion and the importance of bridging cultural divides. She argues that emotion is as essential as intellect and that both play a crucial role in fostering interspecies understanding. Council divides. Varlek's proposal divides the council. While many are sympathetic to Mia's argument, others fear Earth's influence, believing human stories could disrupt the council's values. The betrayal and a devastating twist. An ally's betrayal. Just as Mia prepares to launch her next major film, one of her close allies, possibly Lyra, is coerced by Varlek or another council faction. They're convinced that Mia's work could lead to a cultural contamination of their world's values. This betrayal results in the sabotage of Mia's upcoming film premiere. The sabotage. The film's data is corrupted during a crucial screening before the council, resulting in distorted visuals and broken audio that turn her emotional narrative into something ridiculous. Mia is humiliated, with Varlek seizing the moment to further discredit her work. He calls for an immediate ban on Earth's films, claiming them to be dangerous propaganda. Mia's lowest point, this betrayal and sabotage, devastate Mia. She feels humiliated, defeated, and betrayed, especially by an ally she trusted. She questions her mission and contemplates abandoning her work altogether, feeling the crushing weight of the Council's scorn. A resurgence of strength and determination. Reinix's support. Reinix steps in to console Mia, sharing his own story of hardship and resilience within the Council. He reminds her that change is a long, arduous journey, and true transformation often meets fierce resistance before acceptance. Mia's new resolve. Inspired by Reinix's words, Mia finds the strength to continue. She decides to go underground, organizing secret viewings of her work with council members who are still supportive. Determined to prove her worth and restore Earth's honor, she begins creating a final, powerful film. A secret network. Mia, Reinix, and a few loyal allies work together to distribute her films covertly, aiming to build a grassroots appreciation for human stories. This underground movement gains momentum, fueled by whispers of Mia's resilience and the powerful, forbidden stories she's telling. Foreshadowing the climactic confrontation. Whispers of a counterattack. As Mia's films reach more council members, Varlek begins plotting a final confrontation, determined to eliminate Earth's influence once and for all. This sets the stage for the climactic battle to follow, where Mia will face her ultimate test. Mia's reflections. Although disheartened, Mia finds renewed purpose in her mission. She reflects on her journey and steels herself for the challenges ahead, vowing that she will show the galaxy the true power of human storytelling, no matter what it takes. Excerpt from Section 3. The Betrayal. Mia stood in the Council's Grand Hall, watching the assembled aliens settle into their seats. This was it. This was the premiere she'd been working toward for months, her masterpiece, a story crafted with the guidance of Reinix, Lyra, and her other allies. Every scene had been meticulously chosen, every emotion carefully layered. It was a story of courage, sacrifice, and connection. She'd poured everything into it, hoping this would be the film that finally convinced the Council of Humanity's place among them. The lights dimmed, and the screen flickered to life. But as the first scenes played out, Mia felt a knot of dread twist in her stomach. The audio was garbled, each character's voice distorted into a nonsensical babble. The visuals, once crisp and beautiful, were now pixelated and jumbled, turning emotional moments into bizarre, unintelligible scenes. A snicker rippled through the hall. Mia's face went cold as laughter erupted, not from joy but from ridicule. She turned, looking up to see Counselor Varlek smirk in the dim light. He leaned back, arms crossed, watching her with a look of triumph. The weight of his gaze, the derision from the audience, it all crashed down on her, leaving her rooted to the spot in stunned silence. Is this what humanity calls art? Varlek's voice boomed over the crowd, his tone dripping with scorn. A chaotic display of random noises and garish colors? Mia's hands clenched into fists, the blood draining from her face. She tried to speak, but her throat closed up, her voice trapped in a knot of shame and disbelief. The betrayal, the sabotage, was crushing, leaving her feeling exposed and broken. After what felt like an eternity, Reinix appeared at her side, his presence a quiet anchor in the storm of ridicule. He gently guided her from the hall, his calming energy a balm to her wounded pride. As they left, Mia caught a glimpse of Lyra, standing on the edge of the crowd, her gaze cast downward. Realization struck Mia with a painful clarity. Lyra had betrayed her, perhaps under pressure or out of fear for her people. The knowledge twisted inside her, the pain of betrayal nearly unbearable. In the quiet corridors outside the hall, Mia finally found her voice. "I can't do this, Reinix," she whispered, her voice choked with defeat. "I've given them everything, and they've turned it into a joke. My own friends, my own allies." Reinix's face softened, his purple hue darkening in sorrow. "Mia, you've shown them something they can't understand yet. Change doesn't come without struggle." And sometimes, he paused, his eyes holding hers with a profound understanding. Sometimes the darkness must be faced head-on before the light can shine. Mia took a shuddering breath, feeling a small ember of strength flicker to life within her. She looked away, the weight of despair heavy, but something in Reinix's words stirred a newfound resolve. She would not let Varlek, or anyone, erase her world's worth.